Hey there, everybody. I'm Chrissy. Welcome to Make a Living Acting Anywhere, the channel dedicated to giving you everything you need to know about how to be a self-producing, directing, writing, independent actor, producer, maniac. I provide professional business strategies to independent actors and voiceover artists. In this video, I'm going to be covering two very important things that you must do if you want to have a professional acting career. The first thing I'm going to be covering is in detail step one of putting together your one-person show. So I will cover the first thing you must do for your one-person show in detail. Second, I'll be discussing how you can work with a talent manager to make sure that all of your professional business assets are in order. This is going to serve you in your one-person show development as well as in your acting career. If you're like me, you might be living in a remote area where getting control of your acting career is important to you, and therefore you want to create your own one-person show so that you can either book it locally and make sure you're making your living acting, or book it coast to coast or across the world so that you can make sure you're making your living acting, but that you're in control of your acting destiny. And many of you might be doing this to bide your time or to develop your skills while you're either saving to move to one of the big cities like LA, Chicago, New York, Toronto, Atlanta, Austin, Texas, whatever. In which case, you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video so that you can know how to work with that talent manager who can get you set up to make that big move later. This is a series of 9 videos where I'm going to cover in detail how to produce your own one-person show. So you're going to want to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that you can get alerted every time I release a new video on Wednesdays. And now, without further ado, the first step in producing your one-person show has to do with literary works. A script, a poem, something written, something you've written. If you have watched my video on producing a film, 3 steps, then you might be aware of the process that it takes to make sure you have the rights to perform a written piece of literature. So you're going to see some overlap there. If you are a writer yourself, write your own script. I know for many of you that is an obvious step, but for those of you who are stuck and don't know what to write, this is where I get a little more detailed. So stick around, I'm going to cover that a little bit further down the road. You can commission a playwright or a different type of writer to create or write your one-person show for you. That is how I did it. I had an idea and I called up a playwright, and that is how I had my one-woman show written. Depending on the playwright that you choose, you may have to pay for the literary rights. You may join together as a team. You might split the profits from ticket sales. Whichever way you want to go, make sure that you write down the terms of your agreement so that there is no confusion or misremembering of details later on. If you follow the step-by-step process that I give you and do everything that I'm telling you, you will be able to book your show and get paid to perform it. Who's going to commission a playwright to write your show? Let me know in the comments below and tell me where you are in that process. Another way to get a literary piece of work is by adapting something. You might have a favorite poem or a favorite piece of literature that you just absolutely love, and you want to adapt it into a one-person show. You're going to tell a story. However you choose to tell that story is up to you. So if you want to adapt a poem into a one-person show, that should give you some ideas about how to do that. I say go for it. Let me know. Are you going to adapt a piece of literature for your one-person show? Pop it in the comments below. I want to hear from you. I do engage with you when you comment with me. Now, if you're the writer, coming back to that, see how I circled back? I told you I was going to do that. I did. If you want to write your own piece, you may be stuck trying to figure out the story that you want to tell. I know that for years, I wanted to put together a one-person show and I just didn't know where to start. I didn't know which story I wanted to tell. I know I have a lot of experiences in life that I just think are bizarre and out there, and that they would make great one-person shows. But personally, I didn't even know where to begin, or if I should tell those stories, or how I would make them interesting for a one-person show. Some things to think about if you're going to write your own one-person show is if you have a great story from your life, or you want to write a story about somebody else's life, like a biopic for the stage. Let's say that you had this extraordinary experience. That would be a really great place to start. Another place to start is if you had a moment, just a moment that you love that happened in your life, but it's not necessarily a story you would tell a whole hour and a half of. Take take that story idea, take that moment in time and find a way to put it together. Another great resource for finding a story to turn into a one-person show is the news. Newspapers, obituaries. You'll find some very bizarre stories out there, or very heart-wrenching stories, or something that will inspire you to write about it. Putting 4 cans together and labeling them in 4 different ways, like person, place, time, event, and then creating like 60 pieces of paper. 15 of them have a place in the world, and 15 of them have people from all over the world, and so on and so forth. So there's all sorts of wonderful ideas you can throw together to write your own one-person show. How many of you are going to write your own one-person show? Let me know in the comments below. Regardless of which way you go with this first step, you want to make sure that you handle it legally. So if you're writing your own piece of work, you will want to copyright it and register it. If you are adapting something from another literary work, you're going to want to make sure that you go online and search how to get the rights to adapt it so that you can perform it. Again, I give some really great advice in my Producing Film 3 Steps video on how to do that part of the process. Of course, if you are commissioning a writer or a playwright, you want to make sure that you put together your terms. I always recommend that you work with an entertainment lawyer of some sort. But having connections to anybody, even a local college or high school government class, somebody will know where to point you in terms of resources. But of course, in the wonderful world of the internet, online is the way to go, right? And now I want to cover the second thing that I mentioned. If you've gotten to this point, congratulations, you're going to be far ahead of the class, okay? The reason I'm about to recommend that you work with a talent manager in order to get your one-person show together is because a talent manager knows the assets that you need to appear professional and to get yourself booked. Talent managers' jobs historically have been to develop actors so that they have all of the materials they need. And I'm talking headshots, resumes, cover letters, videos, clips, images, marketing materials, how to do branding, how to get in the door to agents, how to get in the door to casting directors. You want to know how to do that even if you're going to stay where you are as a solo show performer, because all of those assets are how you're going to ooze professionalism to the people you're trying to get the show booked with. So you want to have all of those assets in line, and working with a Hollywood talent manager to get that done is the best way that you can do that. And now, no matter where you are in the world, you are able to work with my friend, Wendy Elaine Wright, who is a Hollywood talent manager who works directly with everybody who takes her course. Now, you don't have to take her course, although I highly recommend that you do, and she makes that very easy for you to do. You can take her free webinar and go through the 10 steps that she gives you freely so that you can get started. If you can take the course, it is best that you do that because you get all sorts of crazy training. You get templates, everything you need to ooze professionalism, but also she works with everybody independently. And she comes into her Facebook group live. It's obviously a Facebook group just for people who are taking her course. But she goes in there live. You will be able to put your photos up there or your clips up there. And on a Zoom call with her, with everybody, she will go through and say, here's what you need to do to that. Here's what you need to do to make sure that that is presenting properly. And she helps you get it together. If you do that while you're going through the 9 steps to creating your one-person show, you will be far ahead of all of your peers, colleagues, other people who are trying to put together a one-person show, because you understand that it's a business and that you have to do it right and book it and make money doing that. Okay, you guys, if you found this information valuable, again, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to ding the bell so that you know next week when I release a new video, and share this with your friends, anybody who you think will benefit from the information I provide. Don't forget to tune in next week, because next week I'm going to be covering how to put on your invitation-only staged reading and more. Click the button below where it says free masterclass. It's going to take you to a form where you will give me your email address and I will send you to her webinar. The reason I'm getting your email address is because I intend to email you every week when I release a new video so that you don't miss anything, but also gives you my email address so that if you want to ask me any questions, you can do so by hitting reply. And I do not charge for that. I just want to help you do this. What I do is if you click on the links in my description below, some of those links do commission me if you end up buying the product from clicking my link. If you decide you're going to set up a Fiverr account and get started doing voiceover work and you use my link to do that, I'll get a commission for that. So I appreciate you for doing that. Comment below and let me know what you think. I look forward to seeing you guys next week when we cover staged readings. Until then, be well, take care. I'm out.